Welcome to the Metal Verbalizers. This podcast is about supporting underground metal and talking about underground bands that we like. We talk about things like inspirations, origin, future plans, and more, as a way to introduce these bands to you. However, even if you are familiar with a band, maybe you'll hear something new that you didn't know already. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and in this episode, we will verbalize Phantom Fire. Alright, so let's start by having you introduce yourself. Name and what you do for the band.
My name is Kjartan Grønhaug, and I play guitar and write the music, or it's the starting points, the sketches for all the songs for Phantom Fire. Yeah, I'm like the primus motor. I don't know what you can. I don't have the English term for it. I'm like the hamster, keeping the hamster wheel rolling with this band.
All right.
Yeah.
I understand. So when did you start playing?
I started playing.
What encouraged you to start?
Well, it was mainly my dad is a musician, so there was always a lot of music in our home. But it was the desire to play in a band that actually encouraged me to start playing.
Right.
So I started playing guitar around, I don't know, 10 years, when I was 10 years old. And that's also how I met Frode, the bass and vocals of Phantom Fire. So we met when he was, we had the same teacher. My guitar teacher was his bass teacher. So when I was going to my sessions, his session ended. So we were walking across this football field at this elementary school, and I remember, there's Frode, the other guy who likes heavy metal and has long hair. So we always tried to be our toughest when we walked past each other on the football field there.
Yeah. But it almost seems like it was destined for you guys to do something together eventually.
Yeah. So I called him up when I wanted to start a band, and we were like 12, I think.
Right.
And my brother was a drummer, and I called him and this other guy that was playing guitar, and do you want to start a band? And yeah. So we got together when we were around 12 and has been playing more or less since.
All right. But how would you describe the band for someone who's never heard about you before?
I would say it's if you like heavy metal, you can like Phantom Fire. Of course, I have a lot of friends that like. It's typical that it's the vocals that turn them off, because if you're into the classics, and then you don't like the black metal part, but it's I think it's not as it's also like going back to when we were kids. We didn't have all these genres. It was just heavy. Everything was just heavy, and that's what I want to say that Phantom Fire is. It's more or less heavy, but of course you have the trashy elements and you have the rock and roll element. But I would say it's heavy, trashy rock and roll, diesel fueled.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you agree? I don't know how much you heard of our albums, but
but I think that's a pretty good description. Something I noticed, however, was that when I listened to the albums, was that I personally felt like the two first albums were maybe a little bit more towards the black metal approach, a little bit raw, a little bit more aggressive. While on the latest one, the kind of rock and roll aspects became a little bit more prominent.
Yeah, and that's I remember I was writing one of the first songs that we made for the new album was the Longnahorn song, which is the fast-paced black metal-ish song.
Yeah.
So I was coming straight out of the second album, kind of. And then I was asking Frode, okay, now we have this kind of black metal-ish song, but what should we go from here? I'll make more rock and roll songs. I want rock and roll songs like if you heard Return of the Goat from the first album, that has this kind
Yeah,
of
I think so.
yeah, that's kind of that was the first song I wrote for the project for the band, and that
Right.
has this for me it has this talk rock and roll ish black metal, early black metal rock and
Right.
roll vibe, and we
That
wanted
was the
to
name of the first EP as well, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Frode he referenced that song and like I want to have more songs like Return of the Goat and the rock and roll vibe. So that kind of made like the whole theme of the process was okay. You want rock and roll? I give you rock and roll. So yeah, so I totally agree. The two prior albums are more aggressive and more, especially the second one is more like has a, like more of a death metal speed, aggression, chaotic. And
Right.
this time we wanted to be more focused and more like tried not to yeah. And also the rock and roll piece part was very essential for us. And I'm really glad that I see a few reviews that coming in, and the rock and roll reference is always there. So that's a win for us. If people like the rock and roll vibe, I see somebody is missing the speed metal part, but I never seen myself as a speed metal enthusiast.
Right.
The first time I was made aware of it was the first album, and I was this is speed metal. I'm like, okay, is it? I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I totally
yeah.
understand that.
We drifted off a bit there, but yeah.
Yeah, but absolutely, and that's something that I really appreciated with the latest album is that uh, it has that kind of like almost you have all this like subgenres and all that, like black speed, black and roll and all that, but uh, I have a pretty hard time to really like compare it to any other bands like that because something that I really noticed with the this album is that it really sounded very like original to me, but also have those parts in it. And it's also something that I noticed about it is that it kind of really keeps you interested, so to speak, because you listen to one song and then the next starts, and it keeps that kind of common theme, but it also kind of presents something a little bit different that makes you think like, oh, wait a minute, like what is this about?
Thank you very much, and that's also something we aim for in the recording process, which is a very like it's very concentrated. We do when we record albums, we do it live in the studio, more or less.
Right.
And we always have like a strict time schedule. So the first album was done in one day. It was
All
in the
right.
COVID, and then the second was done in 2 days, and this one we spent 3 days in the studio. And we don't go and rehearse together before we enter the studio. I learn my pieces,
Okay.
Frode learns his pieces, and then we make decent demos and put the vocals on and everything. But we don't play it as a band until we get in the studio
All right.
with Eva, the drummer. So the first time they're being played together as a band is in the studio, and that's different reasons for it. But one of them is that then you kind of capture this energy that you get from the first time you play a riff that you like together.
Right.
If you do that 200 times in your rehearsing room, you will never get that spark again. It's impossible to recreate. So
Right.
that's one of the reasons. But also, if you do it like that, you can't make like a super detailed everything down kind of album. But we don't want to do that. We want to keep it rock and roll. We want to keep it authentic and want to keep it raw. So that's and I also, of course, when you say that it sounds original, that's like the best compliment we can get. But I also feel that our goal is not to make something original. We steal from all over the place, and we don't want to make something. We don't try to bring something new to the scene. We just gather the stuff that we like, and this is kind of the result. But of course, I agree that it's hard to pinpoint. It's not like there's a lot of great bands out there, and there's a lot of great, like, I don't know, thrash bands that are amazing, but they still sound like a thrash band, and you, at the end of the day, you kind of want to listen to Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
for us. That's I think it's a plus, but it also it makes it. It's been very like genre defined now. I feel that you have to be either a trash band or a doom band or a whatever, so that you can put it on your vest and show, yeah, I like trash because I like this band. I don't know, but that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So like if I can understand you correctly, is that when it comes to like originality, is that uh, originality is something good and that it's something positive you can achieve, but it's not really something that you go out on your way to like specifically pursue.
No, we not at all. We don't try to reinvent anything.
Right.
And we, as I said, uh, I take pieces from I take pieces from songs, in not like, of course, the riff exactly, but I take like a theme of, I can listen to a to a black metal song, and I want to do something like that, and I take it, I break it down, and then I try and then I make something in the same that has the same vibe. So I'm more about keeping the vibe than keeping the same kind of riff
Yeah,
per
yeah.
se. Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense to me.
yeah. But I'm also limited as a guitar player, so that's kind of, I think that for me is like, um, I like to think of it as my advantage when it comes to songwriting, because I don't know all the Slayer riffs and all
Right.
the fucking yeah. And people that do know all them and know all the tricks, it's easier for them to make, like, oh, I want to make a Slayer riff, so you make a Slayer riff. I'm just kind of, I try and make the first song is inspired by Slayer, the first riff of the album, but it doesn't sound like a Slayer riff. I would just wanted that mid-paced, trashy, mid '80s sounding
Right.
riff, and that's what
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
came
understand
up
what you
with.
mean.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
yeah.
something that like I really appreciate about metal music in general is that like, you know, the one who can play like the fastest and the most complex stuff isn't necessarily the one who can play best.
No, no, no. Of course, it's always about knowing your limitations.
Yeah,
And if you hear bands that are playing way out of they make music that's too hard for them to play, it will never sound good. But of course,
right.
there's a lot of extremely good guitar players and musicians out there that and nails it.
Definitely.
Like the I listen quite a lot to Hell Ripper.
Yeah,
That band is just fucking amazing, and they are.
yeah.
I could never do that fast paced riffing that they are doing, but yeah, that's not the goal either. It's not a competition.
No, exactly.
No.
I totally agree with that. But like, what would you say is like the main inspiration for the music of the band? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like compared to other bands or even music related, but what would you say is like inspiring the music?
This sorry. It's quite easy actually, because before we started this band, we had this super ambitious band called Krakow. I don't know if you heard about it. We were doing tours
Right.
quite a bit and supporting acts, and
Yeah, I
we
heard the
kept
name.
going. Yeah, we kept it going for, I don't know, maybe 15 years almost. And when we put that down, me and Frode eventually wanted to do something else since we played together for so long. At the, right after we ended the band, it was more. I was thinking that me and the other guitar player and the other songwriter from Krakow, that we would continue our, because we worked very good together and we still are closest friends and everything. But me and Frode always had this connection since we grew up and started playing bands together, and we've been through. Yeah, this sounds very philosophical. We've been through a lot, basically,
Yeah.
and we always wanted to play together. So we started talking, and yeah, we should make a band that's kind of like a celebration of the metal music that we liked and grew up with. So it's more about celebrate that we were super enthusiastic about Metallica and Slayer and Sepultura, and him, of course, he's a fanatic Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah.
But it's more about this, the origin of metal and what we like to call just heavy music is our main inspiration, basically. And then, of course, when it comes to specific songs and specific bands, I can like, okay, now I want to do something in that genre and that vibe. Then I will maybe put on, if I want to do something like a High on Fire thing, I put on a High on Fire record, and then
Right.
get maybe hear a hook and I can try and do something like that, and then it evolves from there. But just the basic is the main inspiration is our is actually our friendship and the that we just enjoyed metal so much together. Our biggest common ground is Metallica. We both were like fanatics about Metallica in when we were young. Yeah.
Right.
And also horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, old like kind of shitty horror movies. The ones they don't make them like that anymore. You know, the Pet Cemetery and The Gates and The Thing, the first one. Yeah. That kind of movies. It's amazing.
Right. We'd like to talk a little bit about lyric themes.
Yeah, well, that's also basic. It's about Satan mostly. Yeah, and it's Frode writes the most of the lyrics.
Right.
It differs. I'm not quite sure actually. There's a lot about just like demons and the occult and he can maybe find some old entity, and then like from the second album you have this one called Mara, which is this goddess that's come and like takes you. But the first song, Eternal Void, on the new album is a drinking song. It's basically about getting hammered and that you at the end of the day you're in a psychedelic hangover.
Right.
So if you know that and listen to the lyrics, you can get that. It's about going on a bender, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Log the Horn is about this mountain and burning witches. Sorry. Yeah. I'm at work, so I need to try to pretend that I'm working on something else.
All right.
Yeah. Well, it differed, but it's basically about mostly about the dark sides of humanity.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking about demons and stuff like that, I would also like to discuss artwork a little bit. That's something that I really noticed pretty quickly with the artwork for the albums, is that each album has like a demon on it. So we'd like to talk more about that.
Yeah, that's we've been using Hellbutcher from Hellbutcher, also known from Niflheim before.
Right.
Frode is also playing bass in Hellbutcher, so we have a close connection with them. When we do artwork, we always kind of just give a guideline. We say, this is the name of the album, this is what we want, kind of, and then he gets to do whatever he feels like.
Right.
So the artwork is mainly Hellbutcher, and the first one is called The Beast of Beelzebub, and I was thinking Beelzebub as Satan, but there is also this Beelzebub that is this insect kind of thing, and that was what Pelle Hellbutcher got his reference from. So that's why he did it like that. The second one, I can't remember what we did, but I think we just wanted something very like classic Manowar-ish kind of thing. So we got the demon and the naked ladies. And the last one, we were very specific that we wanted a classic, Venomish album cover with a demon. We just want this basic heavy metal cover with a demon on it.
Right. Yeah, because I would kind of say a similar thing about that as well. That like when you say it like that, it feels like, oh right, yeah, there are definitely similarities to stuff like the Venom artwork or like the Bathory artwork, but like that wasn't something that I really like thought super much about when I saw it like the first time. So it's like it has similarities, but it doesn't feel like a copy or anything either. So that's a very cool thing to me.
Yeah, thank you. And we totally agree. And we want to keep it. Like simple with Phantom Fire. It's not gonna be. It's very important for us that it's just. Yeah, it's not something that you have to interpret or it has so many layers. It's like, here you have it. It's heavy metal, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off. And if you like it, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate that type of approach. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So to speak.
It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, but I'm very happy with all the album covers, but especially this latest one because it's so classic. It's so kind of timeless. It's done so many times before, but it's like you can't go wrong with a demon.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and in the metal community, people are like, yeah, that's cool. That's a demon. We like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, what are your plans for the future? If it's music or shows or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we have started doing shows now. We're playing in Oslo on Saturday, the 16th of August, and then we have a festival in Bergen, and then there's another few gigs before the end of the year, and then there are some plans that are just plans for now, but hopefully we'll be on the road in Europe next year.
All right.
That's in the works, but with these things you never know. It's for every in this business, for every yes, there's like 20 no's.
Yeah, so, I can imagine.
So, but we are working on it, and it's looking likely, but I can say when or where yet.
I understand.
No.
But yeah, so is there anything else that you want to say before we end? For example, something that you wish I asked about, or generally something you want to say to the people listening, for example?
No, I don't know. Go check us out, of course, and I hope you like it. If you're ever in doubt, just go and listen to NoFX, and whatever Fat Mike has to say is the law. That's kind of what we always end with. Right. we have a great connection. Well, we always listened a lot to NoFX growing up. So, and if you follow Fat Mike, he's a funny guy. So. He's our guideline. He's like our. If you're ever in doubt in life, just listen to Fat Mike.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want to thank you very much for taking the time to record this episode.
Thank you for reaching out.
Right, of course, and of course we want to wish you all the luck with the band.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
This is the end of this episode. However, now we want to encourage you to go and listen to this band. If you like what you hear, don't forget to go and show them some support, interacting with their social media pages, sharing their music, and telling them that you enjoy their music is very important. It's a great way to help the bands and encourage them to keep going, which helps keep metal alive. We really appreciate that you've been listening all the way to the end. Thank you very much for listening to and supporting Verbalizers. We will be back to Verbalize again next week.